it's nice to see that glimpse of how that memorial got built. And Kimberly, it's sort of a sad day in a way, remembering that occasion. I wasn't at Greenspring then. You were working here then?
So I joined Greenspring right after that, and so I wasn't here on the day 9/11 itself, but joined in January. But really I remember that day. I remember being in the car and hearing on the news, and I literally drove past the Pentagon at 9:15. And at 9:37, the plane hit. Wow. And I just went, wow.
That gives me cold chills.
Yes, yes. And so I think one of the things, though, that I remember when I came to Greenspring is how Greenspring really rallied on that day and the days following, because they had an employee who worked at Greenspring who was pregnant with their first child, and her husband was killed at the Pentagon. And so I just remember vividly how the Greenspring family really for that first year just really rallied together. And I know they're going to zoom in on a photo that I have on the table, but how the resident life team at the time, and you'll recognize in the front row Brad Hibbs, who never ages, Jeff Watson in the center, who was our resident life director, right. Chip Hickey, who was in Channel 6. And then behind Brad is Carla Hibbs, his wife, who was in Resident Life Community Resources at the time. Diane Lasacek, who was social work, who is now the Kathleen Taylor. Lisa Holloway in Pastoral Ministries. And then that person with the curly short hair is me, that young person. And we went up to New York. And so that is in front of the church where they had a lot of the memorials and the signs and the banners, and it was just such a inspirational time. While it was sad, it was also so inspirational. And I think that's one of the things that I just really remember the most, is how everyone came together, not just here at Greenspring, but as a country.
Yes.
And I think as long as we continue to come together as a country and as individuals, we can, no matter what it is, we'll get through anything. And that really is a nice segue, a way, to the Benevolent Care Fund.
Okay.
Because the Benevolent Care Fund really is all about us coming together to help each other. And this is the time for our Benevolent Care Fund campaign, our annual giving campaign. And for any resident who is new, the Benevolent Care Fund is really that rainy day fund. You know, we moved to Greenspring, we plan well, we hope everything goes great with our health and our finances, and that everything's going to be just the way we envisioned. But it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes health changes, expense changes, stock market changes, whatever it is. And all of a sudden your assets don't keep up with your cost of living or medical expenses. And the Benevolent Care Fund helps supplement that. It is literally that rainy day when things aren't going right. It pays the bill. And it is such a peace of mind to not to have to worry that what am I going to do or where am I going to go. And so I have to give a big thank you, of course, to the Treasure Chest, because that group of men and women are by far our largest contributor year in, year out, year in, year out. And we just so appreciate the work they do, but also the Greenspring community rallies behind that group so that they can make a difference for benevolent scholars and staff appreciation. So there's some events coming up. And the first one I need to talk about is the Classic Car Show, which was scheduled for this Saturday on a beautiful Saturday that we're not going to probably have. And so because of the weather prediction, we are moving it to Monday, October the 8th.
Okay.
Now, Monday, the October the 8th, is Columbus Day. While it is not a holiday for Green Spring or the Green Spring staff, it is often a holiday for other government workers or federal workers. And so some of those are folks who are going to bring their vehicle. And so we had to sort of pick a day that would not impact Sunday church parking at Hunter's Crossing, but also have the flexibility. So we are going to keep our fingers crossed for good weather in early October. Bring a little jacket, but it should be a lot of fun. The cars we had already on the list, we had Corvette and a Packard and a Model A, and just really some fun cars. So just mark your calendar, and more info to come, but that's real exciting. And then tomorrow we have a fraud educational seminar. So this one is done by one of the postal inspectors. And again, it's a free event. We do ask folks to just RSVP so we know how many chairs to set up. But it is tomorrow at 1:30 in the Acatink room. And that should be really good. And then of course on Thursday there's a movie, which is also free. It's a Marilyn Monroe, should be a fun comedy, Some Like It Hot.
Absolutely.
I've heard a lot of
the best movie.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of the residents say it just brings back memories.
It's a great
and
movie.
So that's really what we wanted to do, is just to do something fun and exciting.
And what time is Thursday?
And so that's Thursday at 2.
Okay.
So you have time to have lunch, and it'll be done before dinner. So if you need a little break in the afternoon, please do that. But then we also sent out a notice in Cubbies about a 20th anniversary of something called a calendar. And I know you know a little bit about this calendar because you were one of those inspirational driving forces in the beginning.
All it took was a glass of wine, sitting around with friends, and we said, well, why can't we do a calendar? And we did it.
Oh my gosh, I'll never forget.
It was the most fun.
I'll never forget when you came in, you made an appointment to come see me in the office. I don't know if you remember this.
Maybe, I don't
But
know.
I just, oh my gosh, it was just, so I remember you coming in, and I think you came with 2 other residents.
Well, certainly Jenny King probably.
Yes,
had.
and might have been someone else too.
Maybe Doreen Provost. I'm
Yes.
not sure who the other.
And I remember you all sharing this idea about the Calendar Girls and the movie, and this great idea to raise money, and how it would just capture the spirit of Green Spring. And I remember just thinking, how am I going to get this past our executive director,
Yeah.
who was Will Nance at the time?
Yeah.
And I remember saying, well, okay, I need to go talk to Will about it. And I remember you said, don't worry, we already talked to him. He said, if you agree, he agrees.
We did worry. I remember thinking that because it would carry the Green Spring title or name, we shouldn't just assume that we could do it. You know, it's a trademark kind of thing.
Yes.
But our vision was to make $10,000 for benevolent care.
Yes.
And what did we make?
And it was closer to 40.
Yeah.
$40,000.
It was an amazing success.
Yes, it was.
Due to your marketing skills, I'm telling you. You knew every button to push. And
Well-
who to contact and where to put this thing out. And it was wonderful. And
Thank you.
that was like the early days, well, maybe it was early days just for me, of people putting things up on the internet
Yes.
to sell. I mean, what is this?
Yeah.
10 years ago now, right?
But we did. We were on Amazon.com, and
Yeah.
yep, it was really.
It was
so,
great fun. So why do you bring that up now?
So I bring that up because, that was in 2008 was that calendar. And here we are 10 years later as we approach our 20th anniversary of Green Spring. And so there is an anniversary edition that is different than the original because that is coming out. So there will be some things that may look similar to those who have the original, but other things that will look different from the original. And we also had a men's calendar.
Yes, we did.
In 2009. And so this edition will be a blending of those talents in different ways, and maybe some photos that were sort of our second choice photo that may now appear to be a first choice photo in the calendar. So there'll be some new and some old, but really the spirit is, what a fun thing to purchase, to send to families, to use as a stocking stuffer, all in support of the Benevolent Care Fund. And so we are in the pre-sale time right now, where the calendars are $10 if you're picking it up here. And if we are mailing it somewhere, then there's an additional cost. But then after our anniversary date, which is November 17th, they will go up to $15. So we encourage residents who are thinking about it to just put your advance order in, get it done, and then when they come out in early December, we'll have the unveiling and get that out. But it'd be nice to hit those numbers again.
Wow, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
So we are working on all those publicity and Facebook and some new things that we didn't
Okay.
have last time
Good.
around. But we hope that residents will get behind this in the spirit it was meant, and know that all the models are Green Spring residents, and that all the photographers were either Green Spring resident or a Green Spring staff person. No one was paid. There was no one professional per se. This was 100% grassroots from the residents, and the philanthropy office just really helps support it.
It was great, great fun to work on it and to see how much people were willing, our models were willing to appear as though they didn't have any clothes on, but of course they did.
And so
Of course, with Photoshop now, who knows how we could.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, just know that that is went in the cubbies, and if for some reason you've misplaced the form, just come by the office. We'll get you a new calendar order form, and please order your calendar.
Are you going to show the movie again this time?
We are going to show the movie on the day that the calendars are available for pickup. Yes, that is the plan. So we're excited about that, and we'll see if we can find space. Last time we did a calendar signing, and we'd love to try to do that again if it works out.
It was
where
very well
everyone's
received. I remember
available.
that day.
So we hope so. And then the other thing that's coming up is, of course, the gala, which is Roaring Twenties on September 28th. We do have a handful of seats left, but it is getting really close to being full. I've had a few questions about what to wear and what's the menu, where people are sort of on the fence whether I want to spend that much money to go or not. And my first question would be, I would say, of course, spend the money, because I spent the money. And but know that really it is not just for the dinner. It is a charitable intent, and there is a portion that is tax deductible. But the dinner will be surf and turf this year. So we will have petite filet and lobster tails. We'll have a raw bar with oysters and shrimp and crab legs. So they really are looking at doing things a little extra special from the menu point of view, in honor of our 20th anniversary and the celebration for the gala. And of course, there'll be a band with dancing. There'll be blackjack and roulette and casino. So if you, and the casino games are not an additional cost. We'll give you sort of funny money to play at the tables, and then you can win prizes. So just know, if you're interested, get a ticket. If you have questions, come by and see us. We'd love to have you there if it's something you're interested in. If it's not your thing, that's fine. Please encourage you to make a donation to the fund, to wear your red ribbon that says I Care, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, on your name badge, to buy a calendar, to come to some of the free events. And of course, don't forget the car show in October.
Right.
That's, you know.
What a full agenda you have between now and November 17th.
There's a lot going on. And then the anniversary things will start rolling out. And so
Well, there'll be other things like art shows and things
Oh,
like that
definitely.
commemorate.
Yes, and
yeah.
the showgirls will have things for 20th anniversary, and the art wall will have things for 20th anniversary.
Did we ever change that name from Showgirls to Girls and Boys, or Guys and Dolls, or?
They have not told me otherwise. So I just
Okay.
want to thank everyone, though, for getting behind the Benevolent Care Fund in whatever way works for you, and know that Molly and I and the Philanthropy Committee really appreciate the community of Green Springs. So thank you.
Well, I can say for myself, and I hope for many others, we appreciate you.
Oh,
and
thank you.
you are just an ideal
Thank you.
person to
Thank you.
so graciously do fundraising, basically.
Thank
I mean,
you.
it's,
You're going to make me cry.
oh, no, couldn't do it.